African proverb says the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel the warmth. What time in your life have you been closest to starting the fire? 16 years old. Finally decided to fight back against abusive parents. Only had to do it once to stop the physical abuse. The brain ducts kept happening. It's so terrible when the people that are supposed to protect you are your abusers. I'm so sorry you've had to live through this. For me, it was 6 months ago. Finally decided to fight back against bullying I've endured from friends for years. I'm alone, but damn, I'm stronger and better for it. My brother is 10 years younger than me and is a teenager. I regularly drive him around to see his girlfriend and to his classes. Recently he's becoming very disrespectful and downright rude. He's only nice to me if I've made food or if he needs a ride, and in a way that beats me off even more. The amount of times I have seriously considered pulling over and making him walk the last 10 miles home. You shouldn't drive him around. Just don't drive him around if he's disrespectful. LOL, just don't drive him. Oh man, middle school for me. I was heavy bullied at school, mentally and physically. I wasn't getting any support at home or felt like I was. I was not in a good place then. I had so many negative thoughts of hurting others and myself. Thankfully I never had a gun or I would have become one of those school shooters. That's how bad and deep in depression I was in. I did end up in a psych ward, and man, those places are terrible. I didn't get any help but only learned to bottle my shocks up more. Do you think you'll recover and be happy? I can absolutely attest to being around people who were love-starved and then subsequently self-sabotaging or otherwise destructive. In a softer sense, if I have felt rejected, I have felt peace in sort of burning bridges to find myself. May the bridges you burn light the way forward. It's hard not to burn bridges when you got that motivational fire beneath your feet. Moved to a new town and started going to a new church when dad got cancer. Went to church and told the pastor to try and get advice. Pastor announced this to the convocation and also told everyone that some lady's horse was sick. Watch the entire convocation console this lady about her sick horse. The convocation was in tears about some sick horse while my dad was dying. No one said a word to my family. Never been to church since. Sounds familiar to me. One of the reasons I stopped going years ago. No true compassion for anyone unless it makes them look good socially. I'm sorry about your dad. I know there are no words, but I am sorry. This shocks honestly makes me sick. I can't believe how many people will lose their shocks when anything bad happens to an animal. But if the same thing happens to another human, they couldn't care less. Whenever I'm in a meeting and my suggestions are getting consistently ignored and I'm getting interrupted and talked over, I get the weirdest urge to prove I still exist by jumping on the table and busting out the Queen of the Night aria. Edit. There's a lot of good advice in the replies. I will say that in about 60% of my meetings this is never an issue, and in the other 40% it's an issue because of a few specific co-workers who resort to just yelling if confronted politely. Their managers have been made aware of this. Bring an air horn. Then just continue talking as if nothing interrupted you. I cannot guarantee the success of this strategy. In situations like that I usually raise my voice and say something like as I was saying before I was interrupted. It usually shuts up people and keeps them from interrupting again. Working in public accounting as an auditor, 65+ hour weeks, getting yelled at by clients for things that aren't your fault, getting chewed out by your manager for being under budgeted hours for a client, staying in hotels 5 days a week during busy season, eating poorly because you never had time to cook. Let's just say one of the best days of my life was when I got laid off from that place, which opened the door for a great opportunity with none of the issues listed above. What do you do now, if I may ask? How many busy seasons did you go through? When I was an auditor there was a joke around our office. Being an auditor is like being a hooker. You do awful things for your clients. You spend a lot of time at the hotels, and each day you look into the mirror and think, I won't be doing it for the rest of my life. My old job. A lot of people quit when I did. They'll survive, but the atmosphere isn't nearly as light anymore because all the fun people left except one, and now the turnover rate is ridiculously high. Already am Therapy is a magical thing where you learn to burn down anything that is bad for you, and then you take it to your family. My family seems to be somewhat accepting of me burning down the stupidity that is hurting us all, and leaving the nice things, though, in therapy now and agree with you. Sadly, burning down the bad stuff has included my family. I am happy you are better off today than yesterday. My therapist is big on reminding me that I can't control others, but also it's amazing what wonders I have achieved by saying things like, "Stop enabling her on my behalf and I don't know. Why don't you call her and ask?" when my family tries to draw me into drama. Here in Australia, the fire starts itself. I've seen a couple of beepheads chuck lit cigarettes out the window, so I am too sure about that. Comma disappointed face. It looks so terrifying. Nice. Please smash the subscribe button to enjoy daily askreddit content. The time I was working at a psychiatric hospital and the CEO assumed I smoked drugs because I had dreadlocks. I worked hard for those patients and they trusted me. I shielded the hospital from nearly weekly riots of patients. After being unfairly judged and made to look dispensable, I almost set the inmates loose on the asylum. But then, I realized that it was selfish and those people I cared so much about would be punished for fighting my fight for me and basically would be the firewood for my fire. Just go on vacation for a month. Then they'll know what you do for them. I'm guessing there are cases of patient abuse and neglect in your hospital? When I was like 15, I got in a fight with my friend over something stupid. I went home and was shaking with rage. Full on puberty meltdown anger. I was stomping up and down the hallway, breathing through my teeth all hard. At one point I went in the kitchen and got a knife and started talking to God like, "Forgive me for what I do to him, lol duckin' Nimrod." I'm embarrassed when I think about that. LOL. Sometimes the OP quote is a meaningful reminder for our compassion for others. And sometimes it's emblematic of all our fiery, angsty teen hormone rage. IKR. That's why I stopped playing Mario Party. That's a badass proverb if I do say so myself. Working in corporate, I've only heard it in the Black Panther movie, but it is a great one. If I cannot inspire love, I will cause fear. I've never done this in real life, but definitely in video games from time to time. What's the matter? Somebody steal your sweet real quick save. I was really angry about something not very important. So I went on Red Dead Redemption and went and shot up the monastery. My brother came into the room and saw me screaming at the TV while slaughtering nuns. Good times. Life in public accounting. When I told my mom I was being sexually abused, the first words out of her mouth was, "Nobody wants to touch you." I was 8. You didn't deserve that. I hope you're doing well these days. Jesus Christ. I always feel like a loser in school. I have friends but end up alone 95% of the time. It's rough, dog. In grade school, all of my classmates were either hostile, judgmental, uncaring, manipulative, or some combination of them. The teachers didn't even help, and some of them even tried to bully me into thinking I was stupid. I tried talking to older and younger classes sometimes, but that would only cause more bullying. My parents didn't help me either. Their only advice was uselessly preaching about obedience and waiting. It's far in the past and doesn't really affect me anymore. But if I ever bear or adopt kids, I'll try to give them the guidance which I received way too late. Holy duck, this is exactly what I went through. My side hobby is dog rescue. My Facebook feed is filled with code red animals that are about to be euthanized, with news reports of animal abuser after animal abuser after animal abuser, sexual assault of animals, starving them, beating them, dog fighting, some with quite graphic photos. If I respected life less and had martial skills, but fortunately I am not them, and I refuse to become them. Instead, I will do what I can to heal the mess they leave behind. You're good people. Going to the DMV. Honestly, I always am kind to everyone. But remember, if you act like a bleach, you're gonna get treated like one. Nice. Please smash the subscribe button to enjoy daily askreddit content. It is a great quote, but not an African proverb. The origin of the quote is from this passage: if the fires that innately burn inside youths are not intentionally and lovingly added to the hearth of community, they will burn down the structures of culture, just to feel the warmth. Poet Michael Meade, Men in the Water of Life, 1993. Not an African proverb. Dude is Celtic. Where did he even get African from? He's an African Irishman. We call him Murphy Brown. Right now, can't seem to catch a break. Feeling up to here with everything. Experienced some debilitating sickness. That pain, combined with mental pain, rage, and anguish from loss in 3 short months, led to me attempting to bust out an unbreakable window. Fractured my elbow. Alone in the air. Haven't eaten solid food in weeks. Losing my patience. Lost all my energy. Sending kind notes to strangers on the internet is the only thing keeping me going. Please don't shed a tear. I just need to vent. My parents kicked me out to teach me a lesson after finding out I was B. Almost killed myself so they would understand what I was feeling in that moment. I'm glad you're still here. The best revenge is living well. That way you can actually see their reactions. At this time now, my desire to leave my country and renounce my citizenship gets stronger day by day because of all the shocks I see in my government down to the people. It was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire. Yay, we didn't light it, but we're trying to fight it. Ryan started the fire. Whenever I go camping or to a bonfire party without a total fire ban, I nearly had a stroke reading your username. But man, I relate. The total fire ban in Australia means camping and parties aren't the same as they used to be. Complete apathy during most of my elementary years. Do you feel less apathetic now that you're older? BC, I always felt very energized when young, but crazy apathetic now. F. Mid-20s. Apathy is death. I was heating up bread. For 1 minute. 50 seconds too long. My idiot self misunderstood the question. Almost my entire adult life, with spaces in between. I've been self-immolating for 20 years. Nice. Please smash the subscribe button to enjoy daily askreddit content. In middle school, I had a teacher who taught my favorite class, geography. I had maps in my room. I could recite all the countries and some capitals, and tell you a little bit about a lot of them. I was a starry, bright-eyed student looking to learn more, and she was a bore. She was sexist, rude, dry, and took zero interest in teaching. She would dismiss my questions in class, give us stupid assignments, and test us on topics we didn't learn in class. To make a long story short, she was no longer working at the school at the end of the year thanks to me. Burn, Mrs. Wait, tell us how she no longer works there. What went down? You finish this goddamn story right now. Within a few months as a teenager I was arrested for selling drugs, went to jail and was put on probation. All the while my parents were having a nasty divorce and being kicked out of school, not for drugs. Wouldn't give me my stapler. I said I was gonna do it. I told him, it's my stapler. This is the one I've been looking for. Yeah, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and embrace the warmth. On Sunday too. I think this applies. My family rejected me, so then my closest friends become my family. You know, like friends are the family you choose. And now my family is surprised they're not included in my future plans at all, and I prioritize them less during holidays. I did start the fire, but it almost hurt people I loved. So I put it out. I just never regretted starting it. I'd say that applies extremely well to school shootings in the United States. And maybe Australia had this one kid whom everyone was just a total beep towards. Not necessarily. It's actually fictional that the Columbine guys were bullied loners. Had a group of friends that were extremely toxic and bullied me often. One in particular knew I had feelings for him. Before discovering that he was horrible, he used this to take advantage of me and was really verbally abusive. His friends often followed him in abusing me, and one threatened violence against me when I wasn't in the room. I really wanted to punch all of them in the face, but one of them was a martial arts champion and the others were bigger and stronger than me. Instead, I made a series of paintings to cope with the emotional damage and recently gave a speech about it.